Now I'm joined by Kinan Salaam. He's a UK-based Muslim spoken word poet known for his raw, unapologetic voice. A revert to Islam, his poetry is shaped by lived struggle, faith and conviction. On the show this evening, he'll be discussing spoken word as modern da'wah, why Muslims must tell their own stories and the emotional reality of reverting to Islam in the UK today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Brother Kinan.
So spoken word for me is a break. It's a relief because I used to be a musician. I used to be in a rock rap band. I was the front man, so lots of shouting and things like that, mashallah. And when I became a Muslim, I found out poetry was a part of our deen, and I fell in love with it. I then realized that poetry is a dawah tool, a beautiful dawah tool that I personally believe most certainly should be utilized. I started to look into poetry from an Islamic perspective and found a great Sahaba called Hassan ibn Thabit, who was also known as the poet of Allah. And his status as a poet is clear. He had his own mimbar in the Prophet ﷺ's masjid. He refuted that which they said of the Prophet ﷺ, which was not true. And he did it through poetry. And it's something that we should be doing today, because not everybody wants a beautiful, powerful, well-spoken, eloquent sheikh giving them nasiha. Sometimes they want to be spoken to in a tongue that they understand and that they are familiar with. And so using your creative art is a great opportunity to spread Islam, you know.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, you accepted Islam when, and obviously you said you were a front man. How long or how easy or difficult was it to make that transition from that front man shouting to just beautiful spoken word poetry?
Alhamdulillah, Allah made it easy for me.
Alhamdulillah.
Because Allah was always speaking to me. It was just a matter of uncovering my ears so I could hear him speak to me.
Yeah.
One story that I like to share with people is when I was 16 years old, I was in a very depressed place. And I found myself in Cyprus, where I'm from, and I was sitting on the balcony, and there was a small gate just in front of me, which I had my legs resting upon. And I was writing a poem, and this poem was about me unaliving myself, A'udhu billah, okay? And I was very confident in that which I was writing. I really wanted to go ahead with it. As I was writing this poem, sis, Allah sent a fly. And I don't know if you've ever analysed the fly, but they fail to stay still. They're constantly bouncing off the walls and moving. This fly, it found me and it began to hover directly in my line of sight. Okay, and it wasn't moving for a good 10 seconds. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, am I drunk? SubhanAllah, no. I'm not Muslim at this time, obviously. Right, okay. And I'm thinking it's not moving. And then as I lowered my pads, which the poem was I had written the poem, and I was certain that I'm going to get back to the UK and I'm going to unalive myself, the fly suddenly passed away and it fell. And when it fell, it landed on the gate, which my legs were resting upon, directly in front of me. And something inside me said, this is from God. I always believed that there was a creator. I said, this must be from God. This is a sign. As I said, he's always been speaking. I've just had my ears covered, okay? Yeah. Long story cut short, I got back to the UK and I went ahead with it. And I OD'd 78 tablets. And I found myself in a place where I felt, you know, you can't express how it feels to feel like you're going, but everything started to shut down.
And you were 16 at this time.
Yeah, and all that worked was the function of tears. I couldn't move. Found myself in an almost paralyzed state. Went through the whole hospital thing, came back better, alhamdulillah. And when I got back home, I did what a common act that 16-year-olds do. I rummaged through my sister's room. I'm not going to tell you what I was looking for, but I found a translated Quran because she had a boyfriend at the time who was Bengali.
Right.
So he gave her a translated Quran. He was trying to get on the deans to
Yeah.
revert her so he could marry her. And when I found this translated Quran, I was like, let me read this. As soon as I opened it, opened in Surah Baqarah, and I can't remember the verse, but I'm sure a generous brother or sister will comment somewhere, something, when I post this. Allah is not shy to show his believing servant a sign, even with something as small and insignificant as that of a fly. So when I saw this, I thought, subhanAllah, this is it. He's reached out to me. And then just to elaborate on this guidance, a few years later, I still hadn't accepted Islam, but I was passionate and I was looking into it. And I went to visit my father, who is an extreme Islamophobe. And I tried to give him dawah as a non-Muslim, like, no, this stuff, this could be true, Baba. You know, this makes sense. You know, it answers so many of our problems that we've had growing up. And he kicks me out of the house. And in Cyprus, transport is, forget it. You have to walk or drive, or you're waiting an hour, 2 hours for a bus. So I began to walk home. Eventually, I got back to my mother's house. And when I got there, I found this same translated Quran. I've been keeping it around with me. And I opened it. My tears were watering my beards. You know, my heart was shaking so much. I felt like it was about to leave my chest. And I said, Ya Allah, you've done this before. Just speak to me. Give me something that which they cannot give me, because you've given me life, they can't give me life. You've given me sight, they can't give me sight. Now give me comfort, because they can't comfort me. So I opened it, and again, it landed on Surah Ibrahim, verse 114. Ibrahim only made dua for his father because he promised his father he would. But when he realized that his father was an enemy of Allah, this is a butchered translation, he distanced himself from him. So when I read that, I said, subhanAllah, I'm destroying myself. I'm trying to speak to a brick wall that only wants to collapse on me. So yeah, it's been challenging, but every time we reverse, make sujood, we rise a little stronger. MashaAllah.
Honestly, brother, you're making me emotional. You're making me emotional, and you're so moving just the way you speak, and obviously you choose spoken word poetry, which can evoke emotions in people, because it's a performance at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, why do you think that dawah through poetry, or what does it allow you to do and express that other platforms don't?
I speak to people as a human.
Yeah.
As I perform often in non-Muslim events, and I go dressed in the same clothes that I'm sitting in now. And when they speak to me, they say, you know, my goodness, this guy's normal. He's not about to go boom. He's normal. He's a regular person who feels emotions, who gets happy, who gets sad, who likes to have a good time, you know. And it opens their eyes to Islam, because we are not the headlines that implement fear. We are not that which they say of us. We Muslims are everyday people that you walk past in the morning on your way to the shop. We are your neighbours. Yeah. We are people that go to soft play with our children and complain that they're charging us £5 to get in and then charging my child £2 to get in when I'm not going to play with the soft things, right? So we are human beings just like them, and we are much bigger than the false narrative which they are pushing. And I think they know that, but fear holds people back.
Yeah.
Just smiling, sis, just breaking that ice. Like, you know, a lot of us Muslims, we walk around with the feeling that somebody is going to judge us. And potentially, yes, during the times we're living in. But at the same time, I in a space of 2 weeks, I gained over 18,000 followers on Instagram in 2 weeks. And 80-something% of those new followers are non-Muslim.
Oh,
and
mashallah.
the crisis in Palestine has softened people's hearts.
Yeah.
It has opened their eyes. You know, it's gone from headline, Allahu Akbar, boom, to understanding, compassion, Allahu Akbar. They live for something else. There's something else in them that keeps them going. And if people only knew the truth, which they're seeing, mashallah, the narrative will change.